Now this treasury sale that they need to sell, what this looks like is a record 8.9 trillion of government debt will mature over the next year. See the first chart below. The government budget deficit in 2024 will be 1.4 trillion according to the CBO, and the Fed has been running down its balance sheets by 60 billion a month. The bottom line is that someone will need to buy more than 10 trillion of US government bonds in 2024. That is more than 1/3 of government debt outstanding and more than 1/3 of US GDP. Repeat that trend every year for the foreseeable future. That's almost 11 trillion every year until 2030. That's happening at a time when foreign investors have been shrinking their ownership of US bonds since 2015. So much for the theory that we should not worry about accumulating debt because interest rates would always be low. The theory that demand, any amount of US debt was endless, will now be tested at a large scale. Either way, it meant that the federal government is refining its debt at a higher rate. So when you start to look at this, how do interest rates go down? How do interest rates go down? They don't just go down because the Fed decides to go down. If we can't sell this debt, we could potentially walk into a credit downgrade. And that would be an absolute nightmare for America. A default could prompt credit rating agencies to downgrade the government's credit rating. This downgrade would make borrowing more expensive for the government, potentially leading to higher interest rates on government debt and negatively impacting investor confidence. Now, what I believe will happen is as rates become a little bit more stubborn, inflation gets worse. I believe we're walking into stagflation. What we're going to start to see happen is more and more job layoffs. We're going to see the cost of living become almost unbearable and worse than what it is right now. And we're going to see these companies looking to automate their systems as well, or as much as possible, try to automate their process. They're going to be outsourcing more jobs, moving into any which way they can to automate their business. They're going to be doing it. You look at Amazon, look at Walmart talking about drones. They're already working on all these different pilot programs in different cities. We're going to begin to see all this because they're not going to have an option. It's going to be too expensive to borrow money, and they're going to see a consumer that doesn't have the money to go out there and spend like they were spending a few years ago. And so they're going to be restructuring their entire businesses. So I believe we're walking into a scenario right now where banks are in really big trouble, the consumers are in very big trouble, businesses are in very, very big trouble, and America is in very, very big trouble. So position yourself accordingly. I think gold's going to do really, really well.